Mics are hot. Okay.
Alrighty.
All right.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's podcast, the Nobodies podcast where artists and creatives come together and talk about their experiences and lives.
It's like you work here.
All right.
You work here.
I mean,
It's like you haven't been in all the episodes already.
For real.
should I leave?
No, we need you.
I didn't know we were in the presence of a
Okay.
star.
Start.
Let's go ahead and introduce ourselves.
Yes, let's start over here.
My name's Araceli.
And my name's Brant. My.
Nice.
Thank you, San Bernardino. My name is Brandon.
I'm Alexa.
And I am your host, Dre.
You're. All right. Should we just dive right into it?
Let's dive right into it. We wanted to talk about social media and how social media has been affecting just work for a lot of people. Our favorite platforms. Does anybody here have a favorite platform?
I feel like just Instagram is so like that's what I tell people when they ask like because I am part of like the social media team for Future First.
Mm-hmm.
So like I've gotten to know just from my own like personal page
Right.
how things work, what gets people's attention, like me explaining to you guys like the lives and stuff and how
Mhm.
that worked, and you guys are like, what is this? And I was like, it's really not like that. It sounds technical, but it's not.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like you have everything from all the other like apps, I guess, and like
Yeah.
media's like into one, like
Yeah.
stories, photos, posts, all that. You could add like
Explore page.
exactly, and
yeah.
it's like you could just like algorithms in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, helps you.
I mean, Instagram right now is like the main platform for like at this point, you know, in 2021, it's almost like people's whole portfolio at this point.
Pretty
you know,
much,
like
yeah.
you share, like you go on set and you're like, oh hey, what's your Instagram, right? And it's just like, oh, here it is, right? And
Yeah.
they get to look at your work and all that.
Yeah.
So I think Instagram is like one of the top leading ones in terms of like artists and things like that to spread their word. But then you do have others like actually no, Snapchat's kind of gone. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna lie.
Snapchat's more of like a personal.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Snapchats are
Yeah.
the more personal ones, but you do got like your own little pages. I know like there's Visco, there's Pinterest and stuff, but you like share their
Visco's
artworks and
fire.
stuff.
So good.
But yeah, Instagram seems to be the central hub of everything right now.
Yeah, I think that's more because like usually a lot of like smaller businesses and like smaller people are usually on there, and that's like, I mean, it's photos, so you like show people like who you are and what you do. Where in terms of like, you know, Twitter also came up around the same time as Instagram did, but that's more like people just mess around and like spew things, and also a lot of news comes out on that one too.
Yeah.
A lot of journalists
Yeah.
use Twitter.
Yeah. Whereas a lot of more like what we do is like
Yeah.
we lean towards Instagram.
Photojournalists.
Photojournalists,
use
there you go.
Instagram. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of because like obviously social media helps us as like creatives and like just influencers, and then how that gets them like their own platform and stuff, but I feel like it has also like catapulted this like what grind culture is. So it's like you constantly have to show that you're working on your craft or show that you're working on something to kind of prove yourself as just a creative. Whether it's like, here I am on a set, or here I am constantly like putting prints out and stuff like that. Like, what do you guys think about that?
I think it could go like a little either both ways. Like it could be a good thing, and it could also be a negative thing. More like good because what's it called? I mean, of course, like you're showing people that you're doing something, and then like kind of exposing yourself to people. But also, it can also be like very negative because I mean, I know I have been in that mindset before, but like you constantly think like, oh, I have to put something out. Oh, I have to put something out. But like sometimes you just kind of drain yourself of like your work and everything you do. I don't know about you guys, what you guys think.
It's a lot of pressure, I think, when it comes to just maintaining that constant like just dedication to posting and just making sure you're on top of it, especially if the algorithm works against you. then you feel like you have to work 2 times harder to put your stuff out there, get it recognized by like a broader audience, or even just trying to reach new people. Because you could still maintain that same audience and they could still keep an eye on what you're doing, but just expanding your stuff to different viewers. I think that's what's the hardest part. And that's what a lot of artists break their backs over sometimes, because they just focus so much on the numbers where they kind of lose that focus or dedication to like the quality of it sometimes. But I think it's crazy because you guys post a lot and you guys are on top of it, especially with your artwork, and like, I don't know, it's just admirable.
Yeah. Do you post a lot?
No.
Yeah, same. So on this
I
side, less posts. That
Yeah.
side, more posts.
More posts.
Yeah,
We
so
on
here we are.
YouTube.
Like,
Here we are.
That's true. Like for me, I post a lot more on my story because I don't know. I mean I've explained this with you guys, like my sketchbook and how I usually like put like completed pieces, and that's the same thing with my Instagram posts. Like if it's completed, that's what I'll post on my Instagram. But in the story, I'll just post like, oh, here's a whip, or like this is a work in progress. Yeah, yeah, work in progress kind of situation. But that's just me personally. I don't know about you guys, if you guys do something very similar.
It's kind of like a same thing. I do it more for myself, kind of to archive things that I am really proud of, I guess. I'm really proud of.
You should be.
Thank you. Yeah, like you can tell I like fell really hard for something if I like post it. And I would have a lot of people, especially younger people, like barely in high school age, like reach out to me and be like, how do you do this, like for your page and all this other stuff, like your feed? And all I can tell them is like, I just don't care. Like at some point you just have to not care and just put your stuff out there, because it's you. Like unless it's like, of course, like a production page, kind of like ours is, like you have to like watch what you post and like curate stuff like that. But if it's like your personal page, people just want to see more of yourself, like personality wise, how you are. That draws people in a lot more than, you know, the clout of, you know, I saw this artist on the street and here's a picture with like that I took with them and stuff like that. I think that people definitely get lost in numbers and like influencers. Like all power to those people as well, but at some point it becomes harder for people who want their foot in the door. It like you have to, you know, look a certain way, be in a certain thing, come from a certain background, already have money, maybe stuff like that. But I just be shit posting.
Yeah. Meme lord.
Yeah.
Exactly.
At that point, you're kind of also, you're setting up the tone for your branding in a way, and like who you are and what you represent and what you want your artwork to represent in a way. And what would you classify your branding as? Because I know that personally from what I see, it's very authentic, it's very genuine, and there's a lot of vulnerability to it.
I love you.
That part.
And that's just I just think that's really respectful, especially like the industry that you are in, just being able to put yourself forth like that. Do you feel like that maybe when you first started, was that hard for you?
It was, because like I was a very shy like kid. I was always a creative, I guess, but I was very, very shy to the point where like I didn't really want people to look at me. Why would I want people to look at my art? But then it got to the point where I got into like photo and film and stuff, and I was like, well, in order to practice more, maybe I should put myself out there more. And then like that's how you get opportunities like these where you can work with people. But I knew from a very young age that like vulnerability was like my biggest thing, especially like if you want to know me as and my work, it is going to be vulnerable. And if that makes people uncomfortable, or maybe it's like, man, you just want everyone to know everything, and it's like, it's really not that. Like I want my work to really hit people. Like, I love it when people reach out to me and they're just like, I remember that video edit that you did, like, for this one song, like I did 88 by Interwave, that one.
Love it.
Oh, Bob. No, yeah, like one of my friends who I hadn't really seen in a while, and that post was like during quarantine. So like she just came up to me and the first thing she said was, you literally like made the visual for how that song feels and like sounds. And just like little moments like that, which is like I impulsively did a video and I like posted it, and it's just those little moments where I'm just like, this is, people see it, people saw what I saw, and it like resonated so much to them and like inspires people too. Like, you ever get that when people are like, oh my god, like this work is so like inspirational, or like it at least got me to pick up a pencil or like pick up a camera or something.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like that's how what I see for you with like YouTube and stuff too, because of like the people that you admire, that you watch.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I watch a lot of like artists on YouTube, especially ones that like, I mean, they all own like their own little small businesses, and I'm like, this is something that I've always wanted to do. Like YouTube has always like been in the back of my mind, but I'm like, nobody's gonna watch me. I'm just like, fuck it, like let's just do it.
We just be pulling your shit up like
in the middle of a meeting. Let's just watch it. But yeah, like for me, at least in like terms of YouTube, I'm just like, you know what? Like I'll just, you know, make something where people can watch it while they're being productive, because that's usually what I do. I'm usually working while I'm watching these videos, and like I don't know. I at this point I don't really care about like the views. I just care about like, oh, if you want to watch it, go for it. If you want to ask me questions, go for it. It's just more of like how you're saying, more for yourself, and like an archive of just like, oh, this is where I was when I was doing this. Yeah. And so that's why I always put the dates, because I'm like, that's what I was doing when I was,
That's what I really love about you guys, right? Is that everything that you guys have posted, it just feels like an extension of you, you know? Like it just feels like that, right? And so I'm being for real. Like every time I see Alexa's post or you know, story or anything, it just feels like an extension of her. Like, oh yeah, that's her. That's who she is. You know, that's what she loves to do. And I really admire that a lot. Same thing with you, Dre. Like I love like your posts of just like what you do and you know, your artistry and all that. And it's just you know, just more of you. And I really find that really, really refreshing, you know, in the state of right now where it's like, it feels like social media is a grind, you know, like you have to be something, like how you said before, you have the money, you have to come from a certain background or something. You have to kind of almost be someone who you're not, right? To make it or to be in the eyes of people, right? And so, you know, having you guys around and, you know, getting that authenticity of it is really, really like cool and refreshing. And that's why I really love your guys' posts, right? So, you know, that's my take on it.
I want to see y'all post more.
Like I see like, especially you, like you have a lot of projects and like I'm like, where's this at?
For
He's
real?
Like, oh, it's coming out soon. I'm like, when soon?
We'll be like, where's Brandon? We'll be like, I don't know. Has he posted? Like, don't look at the Instagram.
Like we ask about you, we're like, where's Brandon? Oh, I'm working on a project. Okay, when am I gonna see it?
Okay, so this is actually goes back to the last podcast, so tune into that one if you want to hear more about that. But in the last podcast I did say that like I did post every single day, right? For school and stuff, and it was great for the time being. But there's also another danger to that social media where it was like, okay, I gotta make sure the last or this next one is better than the last one.
I have a question for you.
Right.
So my roommate that I lived with like 2 years ago did like the same thing, but his was like drawing and painting. He would like create a piece every day. So like he would start it and finish it the same day and he would post it. And he did that for like a whole year, I believe. So it kind of sounds like you did the same thing, but it was for video. Do you feel like that helped you, or was it at some point where you were like, I don't ever want to do this again? Or
It was a mix of both. It wasn't a clear cut answer to like what, you know, what came out of it. What came out of it for me was I got to do a lot more. I basically honed in my craft, right? I get to get behind the camera every single day. I hit record and I tried something new, right? Things worked, things didn't, and you know, from there I gained that experience. But I think the outcome of that from a different perspective is that I did that every day, and I wanted the next one to be better and better, right? I wanted to like see that growth. And we were talking about this in the last podcast, but like we did or at least I did, I became my own biggest critic when it came to work, right? So everything that I post, you know, everything that I post, you know, I always feel like it needs to be a little bit better, which, to be fair, I know it's not in the right headspace to be, but you know, I did come from a place where I just wanted to see that growth. And so that's kind of like the dangers of social media, is where like you want to see yourself get better and better, right? And you know, you want to see that timeline, and you want to be like, yo, I went from here and now I'm here and now I'm here, right? Where, you know, the timeline is very much just a whole how do I say this? A whole overall, right? Whereas life is not an overall. You know, you have to take it day by day, you know?
Facts.
You're
Oh, man. You do have to take it day by day. And some days you just don't move forward as much as you did the last day, you know? And so
the danger of like looking back and like, why can't I do that or be at that point?
Yeah, it's like, you know, when a lot of people do those throwback Thursdays, right? And it's like, man, I wish I was there, right? Like, what was I doing there that I am not doing right now? And then that becomes sort of a little bit of like a menacing thing in your head, where it's like, man, I wish I could still be in that point. Why am I not doing it? And
the
then
comparison too is also dangerous when it comes to, I know a lot of people would take like social media breaks because they're just like, I have to take a break from maybe the FOMO that I get, or just comparing myself to other people who, like, we shouldn't even be comparing ourselves to sometimes. Like, we'll be comparing ourselves to like A-list celebrities who have like so much money and like all this other stuff, and they have like accessibility to other things that we don't. But we still can't help but compare ourselves. And it's, as creatives, that also like maybe as you thinking that you need certain things that you don't really need. You could get, I guess, like equipment wise, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Better quality, things like that. I know for like the longest time, I would always just compare like the equipment I had compared to others, and like the knowledge you gain from it just from having stuff like that. But I would always just tell myself like day by day, like you'll get there soon. The like most you can do is like watch these people and like learn from that, and then once you get there, go on from there. But it's scary.
It is scary.
And I think that's also like the beauty of like having things that, like how you saying that you just have this equipment but you want to upgrade. And I think that's like the beauty of like not being able to upgrade, that you already know like how to work with something that you have already. And then like people be like, oh my god, you did that with that,
DIY all the way.
Baby.
Oh my god, sorry,
there would
John.
be a few times
just a little bit of gaff tape here and there, you know.
There would be like a few things that I would do, or like photography wise, like people would be like, oh, what did you shoot that on? Oh, I'll be like, oh, I shot this on my iPhone 6, or like I shot this on, you know, my T5. And people would be like, oh my god, really? And I'm just like, yeah, it wasn't anything like too big, just basics. And then I think it's just like being able to just do that with limited equipment.
Use the resources that you have like at hand, and whatever you have accessible to you. And
I would always just tell people, because they ask me like about the videos I would post on Instagram and stuff. Like, what do you use? Stuff like that. I was like, at that time, like I had no like dependable like video camera or anything. I was like just my phone and the iMovie app on my phone, because I didn't even have like a MacBook or like Apple computer or anything. So I was like, just do that, practice like using it, and you can make stuff. Like it's literally like in your hand. And if it looks, they'll be like, oh my God, the quality's nice and everything. And this was back when like we don't have like iPhone cameras that they have now. But I'm just like, literally just go and do it. Like that's the thing. And it teaches you a lot, because once you upgrade to maybe like a PC or like a better editing software, it's easier. And then it's also like, it's like a playground. You get like really into just learning so much more. It seems like such a broad thing. So like there's so much more to do, so much more to use. So you can feel the upgrade at that point. But yeah, just do it.
I think that's a great message just to put forth within just like younger generations and stuff like that. Like if you don't have the money, or if you don't have the access or resources that you need to certain equipment or certain like softwares, like just go ahead and make something, because at the end of the day, whatever comes from that, you're still going to learn from it, and you're still going to be doing what you want to do. And I think that's something I wish I would have told myself sooner, is just that don't be afraid to make something because you don't have like the certain things you need to make it. And just don't be afraid.
Yeah, exactly.
That's crazy though.
Yeah. And I wanted to touch on like the different generations and like how they view social media. There's like a fly.
You saw that?
Yeah.
It's in it.
It's in the
it.
but I know how you're talking about like the younger generations, and I think that like the newer Gen Z, they kind of realize that like just kind of like the backlash and all the so-called feedback that they're getting from like the older generations. They're just kind of like, man, whatever.
They don't
like,
give a
kind of
fuck.
they don't
They
care.
do
They don't
not
care.
care.
And I think
Yeah.
that's great, because they have like their own, they know that they're their own person. And then that's what I think is really fun to like see and experience.
Yeah.
Whereas like, I mean, people our age, like we used to get feedback, or maybe even still now, like we get feedback from like our families, some friends, and then like we take it too hard, and then some of us a little too much. And then like we don't only get that feedback from online, but also from like the people around us. And I think now looking at it, we can sort of learn from like the younger generations, just like being our own selves, and then being okay with being who we are.
Yeah, they're not afraid to use their own. We're over here talking like we're old as fuck.
I know. I was
But
like,
I
literally, what?
Hey, back in my
I was like,
day.
did you map that out right? But I feel it, because I was like, yeah, my mom will be like, is it supposed to look like that? And I'll be like,
Yeah.
what do you mean by that?
Yeah.
And then, but I asked my brother, who's like 18.
Yeah.
I think I asked him when he was 17 though. I was like, do you feel, I was just trying to make like deep conversation with my brother. I was like, do you feel like you have been like heavily impacted and influenced like your entire life from social media, or just like your phone and like electronics in general? He was like, yes. And that's it. And I was like,
what about
do you
it?
want to touch on that, or what's up? Yeah, what about it?
What about it?
What about
What's
it?
it to you?
And he's just like, I don't know. It's just, but then like he didn't need to explain things to me, because just with how he is, you can tell that without like social media and stuff like that, like his personality would be completely different. Like, so much of the content people just like take in makes up their personality. And I am 100% there.
They absorb the TikTok mannerisms.
Yeah.
I'm trying not to. You
There's
trying
like-
not to point right now?
Try not to.
But yeah, there's like always something new like coming out. I think not every like month how it used to be, but like every week something different, something new.
Yeah.
And I think that's very interesting, like how fast social media moves, man.
But it's
Like,
funny how
I
it
mean-
just connects us all like that.
Right,
like,
right.
You
Did
reference
you see
it.
that thing?
Yeah,
No,
and then
I
you're like,
haven't.
and then that just becomes like an insider between you or someone else. And it's
Have you
just-
seen those meme calendars and stuff?
yeah,
Yeah,
where
They're
you
just
go
like,
back.
it's
those
January.
Yeah,
and this
yeah.
is the meme on Twitter right now.
Yeah.
Just
SpongeBob
fill it
like
in.
saved
Yeah.
our like last 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel really bad touching on this subject, but like with what's the prince that just died?
Oh, Prince Philip.
Oh, Prince Philip.
Yeah,
Oh.
like how fast
Yeah.
everybody moves.
They
Oh.
roasted
Like, I know
him.
it's bad, but like the memes, everyone's
so
like, you guys
quick
are
with it.
too
They
quick.
were
Like,
so
please,
quick
like
with
it.
chill. but it's just like interesting just how fast everything
It's that
moves.
instant
Everything's
access,
quick,
and
quick,
it's like
quick, quick.
imagine.
Like,
Yeah.
so fast.
To be fair, they did have it ready.
Yeah.
They been new.
They been, we've been new.
And then I also wanted to talk about like the difference between like archiving memories through social media and archiving memories through like printed media. Because I know we take a lot of Polaroids here,
Mm-hmm.
and then like, I mean, we post it sometimes, but we just keep it on a corkboard.
Yeah.
And then just like, I don't know, like,
What do we think?
It's
on
a
that?
time
Yeah.
capsule, genuinely. Like,
yeah,
if I think that's one thing that I'm fortunate of, like just having that instant access to a camera, and then you guys also have your own film cameras. But just when you look, I was talking to Mario, and I was like, when we get older and one of us gets Alzheimer's, we're just gonna show them these.
That's what you told
Wait,
me
one of us?
when I was showing you
One
my film I got developed, and you were like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, when you die,
Yeah.
Oh my
I was like, when you die, we're just
you're gonna
play
have
these
all
at
of
the
your
funeral.
work." Yeah.
But it's just like, I always make this reference, but it's like from The Office when Andy says, "I wish there was a way, you were in the good old days before leaving them."
mm-hmm.
And I always think that, and I'm like, these are the good old days. Like wherever we go in life and wherever like life takes us, like we're still gonna have these memories and these connections and
Yeah,
shit like that.
When
I'm
you
gonna
told
cry,
me
but
when you told me that, I was like, I'm gonna go home.
Oh man, that's enough to make a grown man
I
cry.
know, but it's just
No, yeah, I always
Yeah.
I'm not sure who asked me, but they were like, "Do you always get your film negatives back?" And I get them. I don't get prints back. I used to, but I just get the digital files. But I always keep my negatives.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was Cameron. He was like, "Why do you keep the negatives?" Because a lot of people, they give you the option to keep or recycle them. And I'm just like, if I lose the files somehow, because it's like all on Dropbox.
yeah.
If something happens, if I lose the account for whatever reason, I have the negatives to come back to. And like, if I want to make them into prints at some point.
Yeah.
I always loved looking through, I'd be like in my mom's closet with like the box full of like film that she would get developed from cameras, like disposable cameras.
Yeah.
I would just be going through them.
Yeah.
And I thought the negatives that came with it were like the sickest thing. So I think from that moment on, I was just like, digital is cool, but also like the cloud and like storage and media, like it's so much and it can get lost sometimes, or maybe I can just get too chaotic with how I organize things.
But I like that because it connects to your roots of where you came from.
I literally did not even think about that until now.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, wait.
It does.
You're like digital?
Does.
I was like, that makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Backstory?
I personally like printed media.
Mhm.
For one, because I mean, doing it yourself is like, I love it.
A1.
But also, I like. I mean, for me and my family. Oh my god,
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry, viewers.
For me and my family, when we would. Are you okay?
That's funny.
You good?
Yeah. Okay, go.
For me and my family, we would have moments where, like, say if we were having like a party for someone and then we wanted to like get like memories, we would all sit down at the table and like pull out like files and files of pictures, like boxes and boxes of pictures, and we'd all sift through them. And sometimes we would find stuff that like we didn't even know was there, like the last time. And then like I have a full on like few boxes of like pictures and stuff. And then like at least when I get older, I want to be able to have like a box full of like memories.
This was grandma at Coachella.
Yeah.
Have you seen those memes?
No. Oh. I was just like, I was thinking of like
this was grandma at Coachella
I was
2020. Wait, no, 2019 before everything.
I was thinking of like an actual grandma at Coachella, like
No,
Yeah.
like what you're gonna show your kids.
Yeah.
This was your grandpa at EDC. Like, imagine.
But yeah, I just think that's really like, I like the printed media.
Yeah.
Like how you were saying, it's just all like if you lose something, that's what's there.
People are quick to tell the difference too, like feel in photos.
Mm-hmm.
Do you prefer
Yeah, I was just gonna ask
digital?
you.
Oh, me?
Or-
Okay, so I've always wanted to do film, right?
Mhm.
But I don't really have access to too many film cameras. I mean, I do have like a simple like what's it called?
Instax?
Instax,
The
yeah.
Polaroid ones?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know, but I tend to just use my camera, and um I do actually feel with you guys in terms of like physical media, because I did do some prints
Mhm.
of like some of my works and stuff, and I'm just like, whoa, this is like, I love the feel of like
Physical
of a
copies, yeah.
physical thing. It just feels tangible, you know?
Mhm.
So I'm just like, I really love this, right?
Admire it from afar.
Yeah.
But in terms of me, I am mostly all digital.
Yeah.
Everything gets saved up. But I do understand that like when you have something physical, when you go through that effort, and because you don't get in terms of like a digital camera, you could take like 1,000 photos, right? But you know, you would only print like maybe like 10 or so, right? When you get those 10 in your hands, you're just like, oh, yo, like you
Yeah.
admire them a little bit
Yeah.
more. Whereas
Yeah.
if you would go to your Dropbox and just scroll through the thousands of photos,
Yeah, that's
it
what
just
I was
doesn't
thinking
feel
too.
the same,
Like just
right?
scrolling through everything
Yeah,
on
like
like your phone is
like
just
I
completely
noticed
different.
that because I take thousands of photos, right?
Right.
And it's just like, oh, I'm just scrolling through them. Yeah, they're memories and stuff. But when you actually have them in your hand, you just like take them at face value, and you're
Mhm.
just like, ooh,
Be careful.
like I love this memory. I love this little moment in time,
Exactly.
you know?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I
Loved
really
it enough to print it out.
Yeah,
also.
exactly,
A
right?
genuine
Yes.
appreciation for it, and then that little detail.
Oh man, you guys are like finding
like-
yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly that. So, you know, I do like that. Although I did grow up on a digital front. I
There you go.
don't really ever have too many film. I mean, we did have what's it called? VHS tapes, and we still sometimes connect the old. Yeah, we connect the old Handycam with those
to
like
the
plugs. Yeah,
gimbal.
to the
Oh,
to
the
the
best.
red,
So
white,
good,
and
dude.
yellow
Yeah.
cables into the
Mhm.
TV, and you know, we would just watch movies from there. You know, I
Oh my
love
Home
that.
videos.
I
right?
remember that. That's
I love
crazy.
home videos.
Those are great. I love going
We're
back
still
to those
talking
old
like we're
stuff.
super old.
I know.
Like what?
Hey, yo, this chair starts to feel a little more comfortable every day.
Okay. Question for anybody. Do you feel like, well, I saw it more with like the arts walk yesterday, and just like work in general, and like how, because I know you found Future first because you were seeing the posts, and then you have been also getting people reach out to you to like DP and like work camera stuff for them because of your Instagram, and it's like accessible. And then you the same with like your artwork that you sell and stuff like that. Do you feel like it makes that so much easier? Like without it, you wouldn't have like a bunch of opportunities that you've had now.
Yeah,
Definitely.
100%.
Like no brainer, right?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it's just the main form of communication now, you know? It's like, I love your work.
I want to work with you.
I want you on
Hit me
here.
up.
You know, and it's just so much more easier. I mean, you guys probably have like people reached out to you guys and be like, oh, hey, even just like, oh, that looks sick, you know, like that, you know,
It's like just keeping you
alone-
in mind.
Yeah, that alone is just like, oh yeah, thank you, right?
Mhm.
Whereas like I probably wouldn't get that same reach if I, you know, I don't know, what would I do for my visual media? I mean, just post it on YouTube, but like if there was no social media,
Mhm.
it just live on there, and whoever sees it, yeah,
Yeah.
you know. But like it's nice having that communication, that feedback, you know.
Mhm.
So yeah,
Social
say so.
media is definitely the main source for networking, just maintaining those connections, especially within this industry. That's what you kind of need to get going, and what really helps you just take off, kind of. And so with that immediate just access to communication to someone, and just being able to talk to them or keep an eye on what they're doing, or just genuinely like loving, like following artists that you love and their work and stuff like that, like it just makes you feel a part of their like their work, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, like with me, definitely it helped a lot. Like back in high school, not that I wouldn't really post much, but like I usually kept a lot to myself, especially like my work. But now that I'm like, man, I gotta make a living off of something. So it's just like
buy my shit.
And definitely like
buy my shit.
yeah, definitely
Link in the bio
yeah.
below.
like with this whole art walk thing, I don't think I would have been able to do it if I did not like sit there and post and make the connections, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wouldn't have met them if it weren't for Future First.
Yeah.
So, and I wouldn't have been there if it weren't for Future First. Well, maybe I would have, but like it wouldn't have been as easy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're from the same city, and I didn't even know about this place, and then I didn't even know about them, and all that. So definitely, it really helps a lot. And then like YouTube too, like people are like, I don't even know. They're like, I'm subscribing because this is cool and I know how it feels. And I'm like, all right, well, I'll subscribe to you too because like I want to reflect that back.
Yeah.
And I think that's great where you have that like positive, that positive stuff coming back and forth and people reciprocating it all the time. So there are like positives and negatives about like social media. Definitely. It's just the way you interpret it and like how if you want to take that negativity in or not. Sometimes it can get to people, in my opinion. But other times it's just like, man, you gotta sit back and think like, should I really dwell on this? No. Okay. Like let's move on, kind of thing. So I think it's all just like mind over matter.
Yeah.
Dad, shout out to you.
Share your
I got
work
that from you.
Share your work. You never know who's gonna see it and who's gonna like, who's looking for people to talk about it, work with them, stuff like that. I know that me just being like, oh, you know, giving my Instagram to someone and being like, I would love to AC more, like be on camera more, and like because of that, somebody hit me up and was like, all right, let's go. Like I'm game. I was looking for somebody.
Queen.
Yeah, that's why I was like,
Yeah.
this is literally all you have to do. Just put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And it's just like, would love to. That's implying that I have like little to no experience.
Right.
But people see it and then they're just like, you know what? They've already seen like my other work or have worked with me before. And that's it. Like you could all like networking and stuff like that. Like you can only say so much when you meet people.
Yeah.
So if they go and see like the content that you do have or stuff about you, it says so much about you already, and maybe could bring you on to other things too. But
at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about. It's the art that you're producing and then the process of that, and then posting it is just to get people to watch it. But really, it's just about why you do it and how you do it.
Yeah. Sorry, one last question. Do you have an aesthetic? Does the aesthetic that you, because this is what I've experienced.
The important question.
She was waiting for this one.
The art walk yesterday.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't know if my setup's good or not. And then people were like,
everyone
really
had their own aesthetics.
Yeah.
It was sick.
Yeah. Everyone was like, yeah, I really like your setup. I'm like, good. Because like, I just literally took everything from my room and just brought it with me. Like my room is completely plain. And then I was talking to people like, hey, yeah, I do the same thing. Da, da, da. Like my room is complete. Like it was filled with all these photos and like all this artwork. And now it's all bare because I brought it all here. So I think that's where the vulnerability as well comes in with like all that, like the aesthetic, like, and especially on social media too, people put on their aesthetic in there as well. I think that's really.
So how do you classify your aesthetic?
Me? Very, I like to keep it with like the basics, white and black. And then I'll just add like little like color in there, but also with greenery.
Oh, you
and
mean
then,
for
and for my aesthetic?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if you've seen it on my table. It's just like black and white, and then like browns, and then there's just pop of color somewhere.
I got you.
I don't know how to explain it. It's just like everywhere. Very, very traditional, like cultural, traditional. Mexican
I got you.
kind of thing.
Yeah, I was
That's
gonna
like,
say based on when the art walk yesterday, like from my perspective, it'd be like Latinx.
Yeah, with their little purple bandana.
With the skeleton.
Mama.
Yeah. Like,
that's what I look like.
The skeleton, the roses, and then you have a mix of you in there with your illustrations and stuff like that.
Yeah, definitely. Like the mirror was
I was like, you selling
a family
this?
heirloom. Yeah, I was like, it's a family heirloom, please no. I was like, it's just so you can look at yourself.
Do not touch.
Do not touch, exactly. What about you?
Me? I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, God, what am I?
What am I?
What am I? What
Existential.
are we?
I guess to briefly summarize, it'd be like hippie emo.
Dope.
I love it.
Yeah.
Very good combination.
Yeah, like one day I'll just be all black, and then the next day it'll be like.
You just remind me of
Flower
like
power.
you remind me of like the night sky for some reason because you wear like
She got that
Let's start
yesterday.
Beautiful.
Yeah, that's
Poppin'.
that's like my aesthetic, or from what I get from your aesthetic.
Aw, thank you. Brandon?
I would say colorful. I'd say colorful.
Color
Colorful. I
grading.
love colors. I love colors. I mean,
Well, when they were talking about color grading, I was literally like, I have learned so much from you just being around you and like on a set, and you're like, fix this sliding setup because I can't work with this. Right? They're like, I can't work with this. Fix it right now. Yeah, because there was one time where I was on a music video set and it was just all red lighting, all super intense red, and then I was like, are we keeping like me being DIT for that shoot? Not like I should have not said anything. I was like, are we keeping the red? And then they're just like, yeah. And I was like, this is like gonna be like red is already kind of hard to work with. Like you guys should like add in another color because of what you said. Like you have to balance it out with something like contrasting color to help me like give me a little bit of room in there somewhere. So color is
there's a lot of color. I don't know if I have a specific aesthetic. I mean, I love working with color, but I range from aesthetics because I don't think I've really finalized what my full aesthetic is, you know? I think I'm just on a digital medium where I can just experiment a lot and I can just play with a lot of like different styles.
Right.
Because I don't really stick to one specific one, but I love just making something pop, making something looks, you know, vibrant. Yeah, I think vibrancy. That's the word. Vibrancy is the word. Man, she got
SAT words.
I'll say vibrancy. Vibrancy is mine. Yeah.
What is your aesthetic?
My aesthetic is A24 art hoe bitch. Dude. That is like, Euphoria. I'm all about it.
I wasn't
like
gonna
just
say
colors,
it, but...
colors and everything in general. I don't know. I'm all about aesthetics and like really things that just catch your eye and can be like. I always have one thing I've noticed in my work that always is like the center of my work. In this case, for like my first short, I had candles. Like that was like the thing there. And then for my second one, it was the disco ball. And then the third one is the cake. Like it's always just, I always want to add something in there that's like, I guess the slightest bit quirky or some shit. I don't know.
But the imagery connects to the overall theme of what you're producing.
Oh, very dreamlike.
Cinematic.
I love it.
You're very cinematic. You're very cinematic.
A24.
I haven't seen a single thing that hasn't been cinematic. I was like, ooh, I love the tones in this. I just love like just not just on like the color wise, but just like the whole overall feel. I love the tones. I'm just like, ooh, feels good.
I love everybody's aesthetic in here. I love everybody's aesthetic. Even your guys'
cutesy bunch.
Aesthetic.
Okay, we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, so that will be the end of this podcast episode. Thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for tuning in. Should we play the jazz man?
Take it away, jazz man.
Hey.
Okay.
Sir Elton. Get it?
Yeah.
He's a treasure. I found him.
The actual star.
Bye.
Thank
you.
The Nobodies podcast is filmed at the Garcia Center for the Arts in San Bernardino, California. We'd like to thank all the Inland Empire artists who have donated their art to be a part of this set. Also, special thanks to Apex Lighting and Grip. Thank you very much.